This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by Summers.farm.com. Summers.farm.com. I'm standing here with Senator Jim Forsythe of, is it Concord or
Stratford?
Stratford, okay. I have, I guess I have some questions about the Rand Paul event today, but also I'm just kind of wondering what's your take on some of the, all the sort of this hail of negative press attention toward what's going on in the New Hampshire House and to some extent in the Senate. Sort of this anti-Republican backlash that appears to be happening in the press, at least.
Well, I think we ran on November 2nd to balance the budget, to not raise taxes, not borrow and spend, not borrow, and to not increase spending. And because of all the stimulus money we had, that meant a lot of cuts, and that's what we openly campaigned on, and that's why we got elected.
Chants and shouts often disrupted the committee's deliberations, drawing an angry response from Chairman Ken Wiley.
You should be embarrassed at the former
But a lot of the groups that are starting to see the cuts are coming out in opposition, and that's to be expected. But those are concentrated benefits for those people, whereas the taxes are very diffuse. So we do have a lot of support for what we're doing. It's just very broad and less energetic than you see with the outcry. But the Senate's looking at some of the more sensitive programs that the House cut, probably going to reinstate some of those and coming up with some other ideas for cuts, such as privatizing some of the prison systems. And so we expect to have a budget we're very proud of, but yet doesn't increase taxes.
To what extent is the House, you think, making mistakes, though? I mean, they're perceived as being like me, radical.
I like a lot of what the House is doing. I mean, probably the biggest mistake is messaging. There's been some issues where some things were said that shouldn't have been said, especially with Marty Hardy. But that's
is that the rep they're trying to kick out, or
he resigned?
Oh,
but that's
right, that guy. Okay,
that's the nature of having a 400-member House with 50% of them new, and they're learning. I'm very proud of what they did with the budget. We're going to make some changes to it, but the overall picture, what they did in terms of balancing the budget with no gimmicks and without increasing taxes, is exactly what they campaigned on.
What do you see as your role in the either of the Dr. Paul's efforts over the next 2 years?
That remains to be determined.
I see, but you're considered very close to both of them.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, and then Dr. Paul was a big help for me during my campaign, and I introduced him at UNH. So I'm very excited when he comes to New Hampshire, and very excited that Rand's here tonight. What's
new going on over the last day or two? And there's been a lot of news, with him announcing the exploratory committee. But what else is going on that you want the media to be reporting that they haven't paid attention to yet?
I'm not really all that concerned about that. I'm just happy to have him here. I mean, I'm really focusing on, we're looking at some school choice issues now over on the House side. They were looking at a study bill for school choice, and instead of making a study, they decided to go all out for it and starting to push for it, and we met on that today, and I'm very excited about that. Like I said, I've been focusing on what's going on in the state, in the State House, so once I get a breather after session's over, I'm trying to spend time in my district. Once that, I can start paying more attention to what the national campaigns are up to.
All right, great. Thanks, Senator. Glad I can call you that.
Thanks.
Take care out there.
Seed saving, orchard care, companion planting, and butchery. Do you have skills in these areas or a desire to learn them? Summers.farm near the gorgeous White Mountains is looking for a farm manager. Maybe looking for you. Vermiculture, companion care, food preservation. Those are other skills that would help. Give them a shout and see if you're a match for this entrepreneurial mid-sized farm in New Hampshire. Summers.farm.com. Summers.farm.com.